So we're recording now. I've got my Audacity going.
Audacity.
Zoom is going.
The Audacity.
I know.
Last time I didn't even use the Audacity file. It sounded like shit compared to Zoom.
Which is just so crazy.
So I'm just keeping it as a backup.
Yeah,
And if it doesn't, and well, at least today it's not possessed. It's not like, do you remember last week? It was turning my volume down for no reason.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
No, it's fine. It's on. Oh, I spoke too soon. It did turn it down a little bit. But you know what? I went and Googled afterwards to find out how to prevent that from happening. And everything I read about Audacity said it does not do that. It does not automatically change the volume. There isn't a way to even set it asking it to do that.
And you're like, well, actually.
Well, why was mine doing that then?
I beg to differ.
Yeah. Because unless I have a fucking ghost in my Audacity, which...
Well, it was in my house.
Mm-hmm. Well, there was something weird going on in your house last time too.
Why am I so out of it right now? I don't know.
Well, you almost got murdered last night, so.
Oh my God. I actually brought my son in with me to sleep because I was so freaked out. I know. I know logically it makes no sense.
Well, I know a lot of our fears
I lived
don't make any
alone
sense.
for how many years?
Mm-hmm.
Hello. Hi, friends, and welcome to the Activity Continues podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Megan.
And this is Amy. Thanks for joining us again. This week, Megan is recapping the Dead Files episode called Hell in the Heartland, and it's from season 8 and is episode 1. And it originally aired on May 6th of 2017.
And I chose this because Jim on Twitter suggested it. Jim's handle is @Jim1062. And Amy last week was like, Megan, this is really like a doozy. Don't watch it at night. And I'm like, no, I totally won't watch it at night. Like, I'm smart. And then last night, my husband was gone. And I'm like, you know what I'm going to do? I procrastinated all week until literally last night. And I'm like, I should just watch it. And then I had to stop watching it because I was so scared.
Yeah. Megan sent me a voice message at like 10 o'clock last night.
I know.
And I was laughing so hard.
Okay, I'm looking at the sketch, Amy. Like, I can't breathe right now. I'm so scared. It literally took my breath away. Oh my God, I might die. I know, because Amy was like, remember when I told you not to do this at night?
I didn't tell you. I just told you it was a doozy. And you said, so I shouldn't watch it at night, right? And I was like, probably not. Your call.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like I was ordering you.
And then I watched it at night and a freak crazy thunderstorm blew in like out of nowhere.
Right.
So I'm sitting there. And the wind is blowing and it's lightning out and I'm in the dark and I'm like, you have got to be fucking kidding me. And at one point I heard my door, like my screen door rattle because of the wind. No. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I literally had my phone in my hand, you guys. And I'm like, when do I dial 911? Like when somebody's murdering me, or can I dial it ahead of time and be like, hey, I think somebody's trying to murder me. And they're like, oh my God, it's Megan again. Like, this is the 4th time tonight, Megan, please stop. And I'm like, listen, Stacy, you don't understand. Like, I'm on a first name basis with the dispatchers. They're like, Megan. And then I hear her offline. She's like, hey, Tina, it's Megan. She's on the phone again. And then Tina's like, oh my God, you owe me $5. Like, so all that to say, I was like, when do I dial 911?
Oh my God.
And literally, you guys, my phone was in my hand. I was looking at the screen, like the door going, okay, 911.
I have dialed 911 and sat there before.
Mm-hmm. So good thing though, I didn't get murdered, obviously, because it's the next day.
Right.
And I'm here.
You did survive.
And Amy is like, we were texting. I'm like, I made it, you guys, to like the last 10 minutes.
I have like, there's 10 minutes left.
I know.
That's when Amy tells him it's all going to be okay. I don't remember if she did or not, but
yeah.
But I was like, you've gotten through the hard part. She's like, nope, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Amy's like, it's literally the easiest part of the episode. And I'm like, you don't understand.
My question is, How did you go from ghosty stuff to I'm going to be murdered? Like, did you think you were going to get murdered by a ghost?
No. So
Okay.
obviously, when I'm home alone, the murderers in the world know that I'm home alone.
Right.
And they were just waiting for me to go to bed.
Okay.
So that they could come in and murder me.
Okay.
I mean, I don't even know why I'm explaining this. Should be so obvious, but
right. So it was just that you saw something that was disturbing that
yes,
escalated your anxiety. Okay.
To be fair, though, it would have been that way even if I'd been watching My Little Ponies. Like anytime I'm home alone, especially now with my son, I'm always like, oh, I'm gonna die. So I leave literally every light in the house on because then they'll know, oh my God, they're not going to sleep. I can't break in because you got to work smarter than the murderers. Unless
they're already in the house.
God damn it, Amy.
That's my biggest fear.
I thought we were friends.
That is my biggest fear, is the hider in the house thing.
Yeah, I know it is. That
is my, like, I'm pretty sure someone lives in our attic. And they're like peeping at us.
Okay, but are
holes.
You pretty sure with like evidence, or you're just pretty sure because that's your fear?
Just because it's my fear.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And there was a show, I think I was texting you while I watched it.
You were. And I was like, why are you watching the show? This is literally your biggest fear.
I know, but it was broad daylight. It was called Frogging.
That doesn't matter.
I know. It really, and this first episode of it, it really did freak me out. The show's called Frogging : something else, Hider in the House or something like that. And I've always called it Hider in the House because there was a movie in the 80s. I can't remember when it came out. Called The Hider in the House. And I believe it was Gary Busey.
Okay, well,
and he was living in this he was living in this family's attic.
Yeah.
And peeping on them and stuff.
The movie The Intruder with Dennis Quaid.
You mentioned that. I haven't seen it.
Such a good movie.
Was it?
Oh, it was so good.
I'll have to watch that some afternoon.
Speaking of movies, not kind of try and segue. I just started watching a new show on Netflix called Glow Up. And it's about makeup artists in the UK. And it's the things these people do with makeup. And amazing. I'm like over here, I'm like, I can barely put eyeshadow on, and they're like turning themselves into cats and lions, which is another form of cat, I know, but it's so different. So yeah, it's like such a fun, feel good, just like a fun show. Yeah. The judges are kind of catty for the UK. And I'm like, you guys are supposed to be super nice. Like, but the one judge, Val, ding dong is her like, you've nailed it type of a thing. So if somebody does a really good look, she'll be like, ding dong, darling, ding dong.
Oh, and I'm just funny.
Like, it's so good.
I love it. I'm going to have to watch it.
And then I've also been watching the Great British Baking Show Junior Edition, Junior Bake Off.
I didn't know they had one of those.
I didn't either. I stumbled upon it. Happenstance. I don't know if that fits. I just wanted to use the word happenstance.
I think it works. I'll allow it.
Thank you. And so, yeah, that was like, it's so fun. You know how I love the Great British Baking Show.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's been really fun. So those are kind of the shows that I've been watching. Oh, and I've been hallmarking it up.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I found, I watched Weddings Every Weekend. So cute. Sweet Pecan Summer, or Pecan Summer, depending on how you say it.
How do they say it in the show?
Pecans.
Pecan.
But I say pecan.
I do too. I say pecan, but not the E. But the
you don't say the pecan. I say pecan. How do I say it? Now I'm questioning everything.
I know. I do that too. I'm like, well, none of it sounds right now.
I know. Anyways, so that one was super cute. And then Love in the Forecast, which I'm bitter I didn't get to finish. I probably talked about it last week, but I'm still holding on to it. I was starting to watch Love in the Forecast, and it was super late. And I'm like, oh, I'm just going to go to bed because it was a work night. It was like 11 o'clock, which is, if you know me, that's like late. 4 hours later than I normally go to bed. And then I was like, I'll just finish it in a couple of days, and it's gone forever. So now I'll never know if they got together.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
Yeah, you never know how those Hallmark shows are going to end.
You never know. It's like, are they going to get together in the front of her house? Are they going to get together in a field? Are they going to get together at work? Are they going to get together in a restaurant?
No, you never know.
I don't know.
Mm-mm.
So now I'll never know.
Well, I usually subscribe to the Hallmark Channel around
Christmas.
Yeah, well, around early November.
So you're just
And then I watch
Christmas groupie.
I am. And then I just watch them straight through till shortly after New Year's. Because some of the New Year's ones are pretty cute too.
They're pretty cute. My Golden Girls Facebook group lose their minds when it's Christmas time because they take Golden Girls off. They lose their minds. I hate these movies. Where are the Golden Girls? I want to watch the Golden Girls.
Oh my goodness.
It's like a riot in the Facebook group.
Wow.
Yeah. So you can watch, people will be like, you can watch it on Hulu. I don't have Hulu.
That's like people that are complaining that they can't find the Dead Files. And I'm like, it's on Discovery.
Yeah.
It's like $3 a month. You can watch it whenever you want, every single episode, except for the revisited, but those aren't anywhere.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, I'm not paying for another thing. I'm like, well, obviously you don't like the show well enough then. So I don't know why you're getting so butthurt about the fact that you can't watch it when you absolutely can watch it.
When you totally can.
Yeah.
Calm down.
Right. People are weird, man.
I know. Let's see what else is going on with me. My favorite. What's going on with you?
What's going on with me?
What's going on? How's the job going?
It's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, it's a job. So, like, Greg was complaining about having to go to work tomorrow, and I'm sitting here going, and then I went, oh, wait, I do too. But it's good.
Damn the man.
Yeah, I know. If only I were independently wealthy.
I know I really messed up when I married John because he wasn't like super rich.
I know. Well, Greg wasn't either. I thought he might be. It was so long ago when I made that choice, you know.
I know. So I think my third husband will for sure be wealthy.
Oh, okay.
For sure.
Okay. Yeah. As my friend Rachel's mom always says, it's just as easy to fall in love with a rich man.
Yeah. I just didn't do my research enough.
Yeah.
And that's on me. That's on me. So next time.
Next time's a charm. Third time's a charm. Yeah,
third time's a charm. Yep. Just kidding. If John and I ever get divorced, I'm never doing this again. Yeah, I will be single forever.
Yeah, if Greg and I split up, I will be single forever.
Unless John Stamos, if you're listening, I will make an exception for you. Okay. I will honestly leave this John for you.
Yeah, I'm sure.
He knows. Yeah. And you know what? He would let me go for John Stamos.
Yeah.
So John Stamos, if you're listening, call me. Send Amy a message and she'll send you my phone number.
Yeah. Yep. I will do that.
So anything else popping around in your neck of the woods?
Not really. Vivi got a new haircut, last week, and they didn't cut it short enough. So she looks just like she did a week ago. Oh, because it's grown back so much, and she's all scruffy.
Yeah, she's looking a little rough. She was looking a little rough before that haircut.
Yeah. So I'm
like, she looked like she went on a bender, like a girls' night bachelorette party, and it was the morning after.
Yeah. Yeah. Her hair, it just goes everywhere. It sticks out all over the place. So yeah. I'm going to have to take her back in and have them do a shorter cut, but they did a nice job, and the lady seemed cool and everything. So that's all good.
Good.
I don't think there's anything else personally, but we do have to talk about
podcastily.
Yeah. Podcastily.
The new word.
I like it.
Thanks.
We
have a lot. We have a lot going on.
Yeah. Well, the patron tiers have changed again, like we talked about, going to do last week. I did change them all. So everybody, whenever I release anything on Patreon, it's going to go to everybody who's a patron, whether you pay $1 or $5. So those of you who are paying $3 or $5 and you would want to go back down or go down to $1, you can. We hope that people choose to support us at a higher rate, but if you don't want to or you can't, that's great. It only costs $1. And I had put in the notes that it's $12 a year because it's $1 a month, and there's 12 months in a year.
Logically, however, that would make sense.
Yeah, I mean, I'm terrible at math, but that I can do.
Yeah.
But I do believe that if you pay for a whole year at a time, that it's less. You get a discount on that.
It's discounted.
I think it is. So I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it is. So that's that.
Get a discount, spend money.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
Yep. And then we got some new reviews
from people
it only hurt all you have to do is ask. Yeah.
Well, we know one of them.
We know, well, two of them are patrons.
Yeah.
And then one of them, I don't know who that is. I don't know that one. Should we read them?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I want to read the last one.
Okay.
So
should I, since that one's longer, should I read the first two and you can read the last one? Okay.
Yep.
So the first one is 5 stars. Yay. And the title is brilliant. So I was like, oh, it's got to be somebody in the UK, right?
In the UK, yes.
US people don't say brilliant usually.
No, we don't.
If they do, they sound pretentious.
Yeah, they do.
But
the UK just sound amazing.
Yeah, it just sounds normal when they say
everything they do is amazing.
Yeah. So this is from Zoe. And she said, I think the podcast is brilliant. Both women do an amazing job at keeping us entertained. I love listening to them. Keep up the fab work.
Zoe, we will, just for you.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a nice one. Perfect.
Yes, thank you so much. That was so nice.
Yeah. And then the next one is from Carrie. Also 5 stars. And the title is Love Being Spooked. I love this podcast. Amy and Megan make it so much fun. I feel like they are friends. The Minnesota accents are great to listen to as well. Keep recording and I'll keep listening.
Oh, sure. We are friends. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We are. Oh, we go way back.
Yep.
Coffee and bars. And then the last one is 5 stars again from Beth. This one I shared with everybody I've ever met. Like I took screenshots because it was just so funny.
Yeah.
I love the Dead Files and I'm sad to hear they only have one more season. I hope you two continue in some fashion because you are hilarious. And while this sounds dorky, I told my husband that I found new friends on a podcast and there are indeed people just like me. Genealogist, not gynecologist. LOL every damn time. It's so funny, Beth, because we actually, you and me and Amy are now best friends.
Yeah.
So you can tell your husband that you did in fact find friends.
Yeah.
And we're going to do a get together.
Yeah. Wherever you know where you are, we'll fly out.
We'll fly there. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. I was thinking, if people listen to us and they seem to like us, based on what they hear of us, we would be friends,
Totally. Because we don't alter anything about ourselves. We don't alter what we say. It's all, this is how we talk when we hang out. Like,
yeah.
So we would be friends with every single one of you.
Yeah. If you like us, well, obviously we'd like you too.
Yeah.
Just how it works.
Us, we like us. So boom, we already have that in common.
Yep. Look at that. Funny.
Building blocks of friendship.
That's right.
You both like me. Just kidding.
Okay, so I was hoping that we would have 1,000 Instagram followers by the time we recorded today, and we don't. But we have 903. We broke so 900.
Close.
I know. So if you're not following us on Instagram, come on over. We are at The Activity Continues. No breaks or underlines or underscores or spaces or anything like that. And come on over and help us. Or come on over and join us.
Baby. We finally have locked down the psychic. I'm so excited.
I am
to
too.
See her.
And it's like a month away.
I know. Yeah, I can't wait. And so naturally, we're gonna probably do an episode all about that.
Yeah.
So we'll have the other Amy on. Because it's her connection she's coming with. So we'll have her, and she goes pretty, I wouldn't say regularly, but she's been to her before several times. So the first time I met Amy, she told me about the psychic and I put her number in my phone. So, and that was just, oh my God. I know Amy says it was a couple of years ago. I feel like we've known each other so much longer, but like in a really good way. So, that's coming up. I'm so excited. I cannot wait to see what she says.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I don't know what to expect. So
I've never been to one.
I haven't either.
And I'm super stoked.
I had my tarot card. Well, they weren't tarot cards. I had my cards read once, like 35 years ago. And it was she just read regular playing cards, not tarot cards. And she was interesting. I felt like she just kind of made shit up and was like,
shoot.
Yep. I don't know. I got the impression she was more of a people reader. Like she could sense, like if she would say, oh, your favorite, why can't I think of the season? Oh my God. I think I had a stroke. Your favorite season is fall. And I was like, no, it's not. It's spring. So, but I didn't say that. I just kind of probably was like, I didn't say, oh yeah, you're right. Wow. I just kind of, and she said, or it will be. Like, yeah. And you know what? She was right about that because now my favorite season is fall. But I don't.
Okay, but that doesn't take any sort of psychic gift.
No.
Fall is the best season. So obviously everybody will love it eventually.
Totally. I know. And we're coming up on it too. I'm excited.
I know.
But anyway, so yeah, we're going to that and I'm excited. And then our promo partner this week is Generally Spooky Podcast. And this is the one from Scotland. We've talked about them before. Kieran, I believe, and Eiley. And they are husband and wife. And they tell spooky stories.
Scottish stories.
Yep. Stories about Scottish lore and stuff. I listened to one this morning that was about house brownies.
Oh, fun.
Ghosts,
Yeah.
I mean, fairies. Yeah, it was really interesting.
That's so fun.
Yeah, it was a good episode. So yeah, that's what you're going to hear when we do a break. You'll hear a promo for them. And I think that's all I got. You have anything?
Content warning, there is suicide.
Okay.
In this episode.
Okay.
And there are children involved as well. There's no murder, there's no crime in this one, but the clients have 3 kids. So there's kids involved.
Okay.
Should we dive right in?
Dive right in.
So it's called Hell in the Heartland. Like Amy said, it takes place in Kearney, Mississippi. And right away as we're driving in, we get 2 big old ring shots, like boom, boom, back to back, right away. Yeah. So Steve meets with Lance. Lance is the client, and he is terrified. He lives there with his wife, Jennifer, and his daughter, Chloe, who's 17. Heidi is, I believe, 12, and Emmy is 8. They've heard a woman scream. Things are moving on their own.
Oh boy.
Like a drawer opens and closes. They've also seen apparitions. And now things are getting violent. A knife flew off of a counter and it cut Lance. And there's a picture of that. I got a lot of pictures of this one. So I'll
good.
Over to you. Interestingly, they had a paranormal team that came and investigated. And the lead guy said, we got to get out of here. It's not safe. And then they packed up and left. And that's a sound clip. And I tried to highlight all the sound clips.
Okay.
Steve asked, what do you think is here? And Lance said, it's hell. It's just pure and simple hell.
Wow. And
he said it's really heartbreaking when his children, Emmy, his youngest, comes running to him screaming and crying and he can't protect her. He's really big on, I need to protect my family and I can't do that, which, I get, like when your kids something's wrong with them, you just feel helpless. So we move into the kitchen here, and that's where they talked about the drawer opening and closing on its own. He said, Lance said he was in the back bedroom working. He was home alone. Nobody else was home, and he's heard it opening and closing. So he set up his cell phone, and he was able to catch it on video, opening and closing.
A door opening?
No, the drawer. The kitchen drawer. Yeah. Another time, he said he was cleaning the kitchen, and a knife flew off the counter, cut him in the arm, and flew into the wall. Yikes. And so again, he has pictures of this, and Steve is he thinks that it's a joke. He's like this. He threatens him a couple of times, like you better not be fucking.
Yeah.
So we go into the basement, and Steve said, I can tell just by being down here that you're really uncomfortable. And Lance says, I hate this basement. He said, I hate it with a passion. He said when they were down in the basement with the paranormal team investigating, he said he, being Lance, was picked up and thrown against the wall. Doesn't remember it happening at all. Wow. They got upstairs and he thought he had passed out, and the paranormal team was like, oh my God, are you okay? His wife Jennifer was with him. Are you okay? Like, what happened? Did you hurt? Are you hurt? And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And they told him he was picked up and thrown.
Oh my God.
And you know, Steve is like, have you ever had seizures before? And he's like, no, I've never had seizures. I've never had anything that would explain this. There's no explanation. He also says if he goes down into the basement alone and he tries to leave out the side door, because I think their basement is ground level and there's a side door that you can like walk out of. He said the door slams right in his face.
Jeez.
Can't leave. Yeah. And I really think that Steve was getting freaked out because again, he threatens him. Like, if you guys are fucking with me, he said, I'm going to be really pissed and we're going to have a problem. And that's a clip that I put
Go Steve.
Yeah. And he said, if this is legit, it's probably one of the worst cases they've ever worked on. Like, it's so bad for this poor family. So then we go to Jennifer, who's Lance's wife, and they're standing in the living room. And Steve is like, well, what is going on? What have you seen? And she said that she saw an apparition of a man looking into the mirror. So she was standing in the living room and she looked over and she saw a man looking into the mirror. She said he was kind of looking down. So like maybe looking through the mirror, like, you know, looking down and looking up with just his eyes. She said he had long hair. And she also said one night she was sleeping. This is so freaky. She was sleeping and her legs slammed into the bed so hard. She felt like they had to have been held up really high and dropped.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So like she's laying in bed and something picks up her legs. So she's kind of in like a little L shape and then just drops them.
Jesus.
I know. She said she's woken up with scratches on her neck, fingerprints and bruises in the shape of fingerprints.
Were the fingerprints shaped like a donut?
No.
Because last week,
No,
in mine they were. I've been craving a donut ever since our last episode.
We're so bad.
I know.
I have orange slices, candied orange slices.
Oh.
So they're healthy.
Yeah.
They're oranges.
Because they're orange.
Orange.
Oh, that reminds me, while we're off the topic for a second, I went through my fridge and I was like, I don't have anything good to drink. And I found a whole unopened 4-pack of Rebel.
Hit. God, and you know what? I was gonna today. I was like, you know what? I should text Amy and see if she wants to record in person.
Oh,
missed opportunity.
Do it next week.
Okay.
So we stopped at Caribou and I got ice crafted press, but I drank it all.
Okay, well now put that in there.
Yeah, so now I'm gonna put the Rebel in there. I'm pretty excited.
So connected. We're so connected.
You want to hear it? Can you hear it?
ASMR.
Yeah. I see those ladies on TikTok every once in a while and they're like clicking their fingernails and stuff. It's weird.
I like the journaling ASMR.
You like the what?
The journaling ASMRs.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that.
I'll send you one. Oh my God. It's just, like, it just lulls me into just a feeling of happiness.
Nice.
I love it. Their nails are impeccable.
Oh yeah.
So Steve goes, I know you guys breed dogs. Could it be the dogs? And I said, Steve, it's not the dogs. It's not the dogs, Steve. It's never the dogs, Steve. It's always the husband in crimes. It's never the dogs in ghosts. Right. Someone put that on a pillow.
Right. Which reminds me, just going to keep interrupting you.
Perfect. Do it.
I'm doing Megan today. We're switching places. So, back to TikTok. That lady, I sent you
the books.
The woman she recommended 3 different books, and they all looked really interesting. And there was one called "The Husband Did It" or something like that. And I went and got that one today. I read the first chapter, which was all of 3 minutes. But
they're all fiction, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because she said they were thrillers.
Yep.
Was it good?
Well, yeah, so far, but I only, it was like, it started out and then the end of the first chapter, the first chapter ends and then the next chapter says 20 years earlier.
Okay.
So it's like it's like a flashback.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, it was good. I'll put the link to that in the show notes because I can't remember exactly what it was called.
So it's not the dogs, Steve.
No, not the dogs.
And Jennifer said everybody in the family is having stomach pain. She said there's a lot of emotional issues. There's depression. She said there's lots of fighting between family members. There's fighting between the kids. There's fighting between her and her husband. And Steve said, do you have any idea who it could be? And Jennifer had a friend, Jackie, who passed away a year ago. She said she got a call. She was depressed, and she said she was told that she overdosed. And Steve asked if it was potentially suicide, and she said, I don't know. She said it could have been an accidental overdose. She was just really not in a good place. And Jennifer said she feels Jackie there. She feels her presence. So she's wondering if maybe it's her. Put a pin in that because we get back to it.
Cool.
So then we go and we talk to Chloe, Heidi, and Emmy. So Chloe is first. She's the oldest. She said she was sound asleep one night and she woke up feeling like she couldn't move. She said she was paralyzed with fear, and she thinks it was somebody who was bigger than her, someone who was trying to scare her. She said it was definitely somebody who could hold her down. So this spirit was big enough that it could hold her down, or strong enough. Yeah. Heidi's the middle child. She was in the dining room and she said there was a pumpkin. I'm thinking like a decorative pumpkin, maybe on like a table or something. She said she looked at the pumpkin, she looked away, and then when she looked back at the pumpkin, it was flying through the air. She said it flew from the dining room to the living room.
Oh my God.
Yes. So goodbye. No, thank you.
Well, thank you.
I like Halloween, but I don't want it to be in my house, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Then we get to Emmy, the youngest, and all these girls. Chloe is gorgeous. Like, she's very, she's going to be beautiful as a woman. And Heidi and Emmy are younger, and they're just so sweet. Like, they're just so cute. And Emmy is 8. She's adorable.
I love that name.
I
Emmy.
know.
So cute.
She's getting the worst of it. She said she was in her bed, in her room getting ready for bed. And she said her doorknob kept turning like somebody was trying to get in. Like, it kept moving back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. She said like the door was locked. She said, he's like, how long did it last? And she goes, 5 seconds. And so she counted and she went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it stopped. She said she's also seen a girl by the bathroom crying, and she drew a picture of it. And Steve goes, you did? Steven, I love you so much.
He's so good.
Like, he is so good with the kids. And so she showed him the picture of it, and I took a picture of the pictureception. And she's like this, and her hair is long, and she can hear her crying. He asked if she wants to leave, and she said, yeah, I do. But she said, but if you can fix it and get everything out of the house, I would be fine with that.
Oh,
sweet baby girl.
Yeah.
So then we go to a local professor, Dr. Ethan Rafuse. They don't say his name. That's how it's spelled. So that's what I'm saying it as. So here's interesting. And I did a little bit of side research on this, but not a ton. So the original owner of the house, his name was William Wade, and he had relatives who served with the Quantrill Raiders. So the Quantrill Raiders, they were a pro-Confederate guerrilla group that operated in Western Mississippi. I'll get a few of the facts that I pulled from them.
Okay.
Let me open it here real quick. And then you can decide, if you want to keep this maybe a bonus content in Patreon, or whatever you want to do with it. So it was started by William Clark Quantrill in 1837. And the site that I got all of this from was www.okhistory.org. And I'll send you the link because it's a whole link to like an article. Okay. So that's where I got it from. The article, so we're going back to the episode now.
So who was it that in the episode that was part of this?
So William Wade is the original owner of the property.
Okay.
And his brother, and we'll get into it, his brother, David Williams, was with the Quantrill Raiders.
Okay.
And both of his nephews, Newton and Samuel. So that's the connection.
Okay.
The owner of the property, his brother and nephew served with the Quantrill Raiders.
Got it. Okay.
So we get William T. Anderson, who was with the Quantrill Raiders, aka Bloody Bill. So great name. I feel like we've had that name before too. Not originally.
I was gonna say, when I watched this episode and they showed the picture of Bloody Bill, I was like, I've totally seen that guy before.
Yeah. We've talked about him, I feel like.
Yeah, I think
the name is familiar.
Yeah, and the picture was really familiar.
Yeah.
The picture of him was really familiar to me. So I can't say for sure that it was from this show. But I saw something about him on something.
Yeah. So he went to a Union sympathizer house, tortured him, cut off his nose, his ears, and shot him full of bullets until he died. So that's great. So David Williams, who's Wade Williams' brother, and Wade Williams is the original owner of the property, and his nephews, like I said, they served in the Quantrill group. David survives the war, but Newton, one of the nephews, is killed in September of 1864. Samuel is killed in 1865. Bloody Bill was tracked down in Albany, Mississippi, near Kearney in 1865. He ordered a charge and was killed. And the people there took a picture of his body, so people knew he was dead. So I said they showed a picture of him dead. Last part of Steve. Well, no, actually not the last part of Steve. I lied. So now we're digging through the archives. So we find a 45-year-old woman who died on the land in 1921. But there's no paperwork listing the cause of death. There's nothing to say how she died, what she died of, nothing. So she's meeting with a private investigator to try to get to the bottom. So then we meet Kathleen Brandt, PI. The woman was named Etta Davis. She married a man named Charlie Williams Peterson in 1901, and they moved onto the property that same year. Charlie bought the land from his father, Nimrod Peterson, which Nimrod was his name.
Oh my goodness.
I know. And Nimrod stayed on the property after he sold it to Charlie. Yes. And he died on the property when he was 70 years old. Cause of his death is dropsy. For those who don't know what dropsy is, it is backup of fluid due to congestive heart failure.
Okay.
So I didn't know either, but Kathleen Brandt explained it to us. So thank you, Kathleen.
Way to go.
Regarding Etta Davis's death. Kathleen couldn't find anything on her death certificate, record, anything related to that. Steve asked, well, when did Mississippi officially start documenting deaths? And she said, 1910. So there should have been a certificate. She said there's two reasons why there's a death certificate. The first is mental illness, because, that's very shameful for the family. They want to hide it. They don't want people to know that, Etta was not well. So they would hide that. And the second would have been suicide, because the church wouldn't have allowed the body to be buried in the cemetery, because that's a cardinal sin.
Right.
So the family would have hidden the death certificate. And you might be wondering, how on earth were they able to hide the death certificate? Well, it just so happens that Etta's cousin was the coroner and the sheriff. So when you've got the hookup, helps.
It's all who you know.
So now we get to Amy's arrival, and immediately she gets out of the car and she says, this feels weird. I don't like this. Same, Amy. Same. She said there are three main dead people. She starts talking about a main female. She said she's very active and she is a problem. She can make somebody ill mentally and physically. She eats their body and then she'll eat their mind.
Oh my God.
Not great. And she said there's a living male here that hates this dead girl. She doesn't hate him. She wants his acceptance, and she tries to talk to him and he doesn't hear her. And she's super jealous of anybody else who gets his attention. And that could be very dangerous for those people.
So that has to be Lance, right? Because he's the only man that lives in the house.
That's the only man.
Kids are girls. Okay.
She wants his acceptance and he hates her. So not great.
Yeah.
Then the dead woman is aware of walls and chairs, which means she can interact with them if she wants to. And she can also cause issues for the living. She said she likes to break down the physical aspect of a person. She wears down their body and then she feeds off that energy. And then she feeds off mental deterioration as well. She steals their memories, and feeds off of them.
Jesus.
And Amy says she's never seen a dead person feed like that before. So yay.
Gross.
New achievement unlocked. So then we go to the master bedroom, and she said she doesn't like this guy. She said it doesn't like this room. She said there's a guy in here and he's weird. He's wearing a big hat. But she said he's like a shadow hat man, and that's what she calls him. She said the hat man comes in here a lot and he's in the back corner. So he stands in the back corner of the room. She said he's waiting and watching. She said it's very creepy. She said he feels trapped by whoever stays in here. He feels like they trapped him. And Matt asks, do you think the person he's fixating on is in danger? And Amy says, yes, I do, because he hates them. I mean, fair. you know?
Yeah.
So the woman, again, we kind of toggle back and forth between the hat man and the woman. And she said her brain doesn't feel right. She said she's chaos. She said she can cause a lot of different illnesses when she latches onto somebody.
Ugh, gross.
Then we talk about the dead girl. She only opens bedroom doors. And she said she's focused on one person and she's physically harming that person. And it's more than likely because of the jealousy. She said this girl is on the person's neck that she's focusing on and the back of their head.
Oh.
And she said she can cause impulsive behaviors. And Matt asks, what does she want to do to this person? And Amy said she would be happy if this person died, but she is going to torture them until they do.
Oh my God.
So then we go outside and Amy said she sees a lot of people out front walking back and forth, kind of like a path. She said there's 2 shadow figures in the yard. They're super aggressive. She said they charged her when she got onto the land. They want to strangle her. They want to hit her, and they view her as a threat. And she said they could easily hurt others. So then we're back in the master bedroom, and Matt asks if Amy knows anything about Shadow Hat Man from when he was alive. And she said that she got that he lived in Western times. He was wearing a cloak duster thing, she said, and a hat. She said he rode a horse. He's tough, and he might have done some bad things. And he didn't die in the house. And Amy doesn't know why he's here. She said it doesn't make sense. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like he should be here. He doesn't really have any ties to the house. So why is he here? We don't know. Then we go in the basement. And she said Amy feels like there's a spirit, like the Shadow Hat Man was trapped. She said she thinks he was transported here, and that might be why he doesn't like the living person in the master bedroom, because that person in the room somehow trapped him, and he's just pissed off about it.
Oh.
We get to it. And then she does get an elderly man who died. This is really the only talk that we have about him, the only time she mentions him. She said the third main dead person in the house is this elderly man. He died when he was in his late 60s, early 70s. She said he walks down the hall kind of hunched over, you know, like an elderly person might walk. And she said this is all residual. Like he's not actually there. It's just residual energy.
Okay.
Yeah. So she sees the jealous dead woman again in the kitchen. She said in her life, she was young. She feels like she belongs here and she died here. She feels like her death was a mistake. She feels like it shouldn't happen and she regrets it. And Amy thinks maybe it's suicide because she regrets it. Yep. So then we get to the reveal. And in the house, Amy says she saw a male projecting himself to be very large. She said he's from the Old West. The living would see him as a shadow figure with a hat. She said he's very physical. He's in the parents' bedroom the most. And he said his thing is he feels like someone in that room trapped him here and he is pissed. She said he is concocting malicious ways of taking vengeance on that person. Jennifer interjects and talks about her legs being slammed in the bed and then waking up with scratches and bruises. And Amy said she thinks it's this guy. Lance talks about the paranormal team coming in and leaving. And Jennifer said, and I didn't want them to just leave, so I made them cleanse the house. And Amy gasped. Amy goes, what? Yeah. Steve said, that doesn't sound good. Gee, thanks, Steve. Thank you.
Yeah, Amy's not real fond of stories about paranormal people coming in and fucking things up.
Nope. And she said maybe they did a botched cleansing and that traps him. That trapped him. So that's where they show the sketch of the guy in the corner.
And this is where you pieced out.
Yep. This is where I was like, I'm like, bye. No,
Bye.
Thank you. So Amy's asking about the paranormal team and they asked and she said, how did they call for the dead? And Lance said they used the phrase, we command you to come forward. And Amy's eyes got super big. And she said, did they literally use the word command? And she said, yes. He said, yes, they did. And Amy said, you cannot command the dead. She said, the only time you use that word is if you command them to leave the house. And Lance talks then about when he was thrown against the wall. And she said, Hat Guy probably did it. And Lance is super scared now. He was like, I was scared before. He's like, I'm petrified right now. I'm petrified for my family. I know. This family was just so sweet. So then we go back to the sketch, and Steve asked if she got anything on him in life, and she said she got Western. He did bad things when he was alive, and he did not die in the house. So Steve started talking about the Quantrill Raiders. The area that they were in, the area that they live in, was under Union control. So that might be why the Quantrill Raiders, quote unquote, were Confederate. No, they weren't. They just wanted the chance to fuck shit up, really. So that's when Steve takes the picture of David and Samuel and Newton, and he points to them, and he's like, well, these three were involved in it. David survived, the other two didn't. And he said, do any of these people, and he talked about Bloody Bill, and he said, do any of these people ring a bell? And she said, the only one that jumped out to me is him. And she pointed at David, the brother. So the brother's probably Hat Guy, like Shadow Hat Man. So then we talk about the female spirits. Amy said this is a big problem. She affects the living in many ways. She said she can get physical. I want to get physical. I want to get sexual. I don't know if those are the words. It just felt right, so I went with it.
That's great. Yeah.
It should be the words.
After we first invoked Olivia Newton-John in our episode, and I showed, in the video, I put a little clip in of physical and all that. Right after that is when she passed away. Olivia Newton-John passed away in between then and now.
Olivia.
I know. And I loved her so much. And
she was a good one.
I was going to mention this anyway because last week, I think it was, there's a show on Twitch every Saturday and Wednesday nights called Transmission. And it's DJ Jake Rude, who's local here. And he has a show on The Current, which is one of our local radio stations. And he does a Twitch session every night, 5 hours of videos, usually from the 80s. But he'll pick a theme and run with it and do a different theme every night. Or every Saturday, usually, anyway.
That's right up your alley.
I know. We watch it every Saturday and almost every Wednesday. Well, last Wednesday, the theme was about Olivia Newton-John because she had just passed.
You texted me that. Yeah.
It was so... I sat there like bawling at every... Because it wasn't just Olivia Newton-John songs. It was all this yacht rock, he calls it. That was all this 70s, like smooth
boating,
rock
like
stuff.
Smooth jazz. Not jazz.
Not jazz, but pop or whatever.
Soft rock.
Yeah, soft rock. And so there's somebody in the Twitch group, a fan, and she makes a playlist on Spotify every week of all of the songs. And so yesterday and today, I was listening to the Olivia Newton-John one. It's so good. There's so many good songs. It's not just her. It's all these other artists too. So I will put a link to that in the show notes because it's really, really, as much as I'm not a huge fan of Spotify, I will listen to it for this. Although there were a lot of really bad reviews. I mean, a lot of really bad ads. And I was listening to them like, they better not put those ads in our show. But you know what? They probably will.
Yeah.
They probably will.
Well,
but anyway.
If you listen to us on Spotify, like we've said before, we have no control over the ads that are put in there.
We would never in a million years do an ad for Hobby Lobby.
Never.
Just so you know.
Or Chick-fil-A.
Or Chick-fil-A. Or any other trans
horrible
homophobic.
Place.
Yeah.
Yeah. That hates people for being who they are.
Exactly.
Really. Don't like them.
Nope.
Okay. So back to the door. Or back to the door. Back to the show.
Let's go back to the door.
Let's go back to the door. So Amy talks about the female spirit again. Again, she's a big problem. She can affect the living in many ways. She can, sorry, I swallowed wrong. She can affect the living in many ways. She can get physical. Amy saw her opening doors and she sucks energy from the living. She can create fatigue. She can create breathing issues. So then Jennifer pops up and says, well, since living here, her vitamin D has dropped significantly. She went to the doctor and they were like, you know what, let's have your gallbladder checked. Found out it's only working at 19% capacity.
Holy shit.
Now, I'm no doctor, but that's probably not great.
Right.
That's a fail.
I didn't know that vitamin D had anything to do with your gallbladder.
I didn't either.
That's interesting.
But it makes sense that she's tired because doesn't vitamin D give you like energy?
Yeah, well, I think vitamin B is the big energy one, but you do need vitamin D.
Yeah.
And especially if you live, well, they're down south, but like my doctor told me to take as much vitamin D as I can or want because living in Minnesota, we don't get enough.
We don't get it. Yeah. So follow us for more medical advice.
Hashtag not a doctor.
Hashtag I shouldn't be a doctor. Lance says that Chloe has had breathing problems. The youngest two, Heidi and Emma, will be sick to their stomach, headaches, exhaustion every single week. Jennifer said every week it's something new. And then Lance talks about Emmy's experience with the doorknob, how she, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then Steve shows the video of the drawer opening and closing. And Steve questions, he's like, I don't know if this is real. He said, I don't like video evidence, which I can understand. Like, that's
it's so easy to fix
doctored. Yeah. Amy asks if they've had any physical phenomenon, and Lance talks about the knife flying. And Amy says, interesting, but not scared, more intrigued. To which I wrote, Amy, this is flying knives. Let's not be intrigued about this. Shows the photo of his cut, and Amy goes, damn.
Amy. Damn.
Oh, Amy, you funny girl. So Amy says that's more of a poltergeist phenomenon than deceased. And we get back to that. Steve asks the woman who the woman was in life. And Amy says that this spirit is going on and on about death and how she regrets it. And Amy wonders if it was suicide. And Jennifer then brings up her friend Jackie, and she unintentionally committed suicide. Whether it was unintentional or not, we don't know.
She overdosed, right?
So it could have been an accidental or whatever.
Yeah.
And Steve shows a picture of Aunt Jackie. It is the cutest picture. She's got this little fluffy dog.
Oh.
Amy says it's not her, but she is here right now trying to warn you about the other woman. So she said the bad woman goes after you physically and then mentally. And she said she's fixated on the man. She wants his acceptance and his approval. The problem is, again, like I've said multiple times, she gets jealous of anybody who gets his attention when it's not her. And Jennifer says, so everybody here, because everybody there gets his attention because they're alive.
Right.
She said in the very back bedroom, she saw something disturbing taking place and she got it sketched. And this is Heidi's room. And she is latching onto Heidi because she's a PK agent, which is a poltergeist phenomenon. So she can...
Heidi is
the
a
middle
PK
one.
agent.
Yep, the middle one.
Okay.
She said anybody who's a PK agent to a spirit is like an electronic or an energizer bunny. She said they can just siphon energy off of them, and it's like great for them, not obviously the woman. She's jealous of Heidi and wants her out of the way. She said if Heidi died, she'd be ecstatic. Jennifer starts crying. She says, I feel horrible. My heart hurts. And I mean, then she just starts sobbing. And my heart broke for her. I almost started crying because she was crying so hard. She was trying to talk and you couldn't understand what she was saying because she's just, and I got out that she said, that's my baby. And then just nothing, and Steve, oh my, like I was tearing up watching this because when your kids if you can't protect your kids, that's your whole purpose in life. And if you can't do it, and so Lance reached over and hugged her and then they took a break and I just felt so like my heart broke for this family.
Yeah.
And then they come back and, Steve said, are you guys okay? And Jennifer says, yeah, we're better now. And so then Steve is like, well, if you can live here or not, that's Amy. And so I'm going to turn it, his spiel, I'm going to turn it over to her. And Amy says, okay, well, you need to deal with the Hat Man first. She said, you need a male medium who is tough and he needs to come in and he needs to lead him outside. He will then ban him from the property forever. So I don't think this guy can be moved on. He just needs to be banned from going
away. Yeah.
Yep. Next, we will move to the deceased woman. I know, I thought that was interesting too. Step 1, you will need to find a Reiki master who will sever the attachment between Heidi and her. Once that is done, you need the male medium to step in. He will force her out. She said, this could get volatile. She's probably not going to want to leave. So she didn't say it in the show. Maybe she told them off screen. I would imagine she told them not to be around when that happens.
Yeah,
that could probably get real bad.
Yeah.
she said, you need to work with Heidi because she has PK abilities. People who have PK abilities are able to affect their physical environment with their thoughts, which Amy said is really cool. And I'm like, yeah, it is, Amy.
It is cool.
She said Heidi's the one who caused the stuff in the video. She caused the drawer to open and close, and she caused the knife to fly off of the shelf. Yeah.
I'm sure she didn't mean to hurt him.
No, she didn't mean to at all. Amy just says she has all this extra energy and she doesn't know how to channel it. And
so she has to learn how to use it.
She needs to learn tasks like meditation, yoga, Tai Chi, those types of tasks where you can channel your energy so she can release it in the proper manner. And Steve asks if they do everything, will things change? Will things subside? And Amy says, yes, illnesses will subside. Heidi will become much more focused and healthier and functioning. And Lance says they'll do it all. Whatever, he said, whatever, I'll do whatever I have to protect my kids. Okay. And then Jennifer is so sweet. She says, I'm strong. And she flexes her muscles.
Oh, good for her.
Like, I really wanted to just reach through and give them a hug.
Yeah.
So the end of the screen says they did everything Amy told them to do. They brought in a Reiki master and a male medium. And Heidi is working on focusing and the activity has decreased.
Oh, good.
So it was so good. And I just really wanted to that poor family, the mom, when she she was crying so hard she couldn't talk. And it's just heartbreaking.
Yeah. The one that I did last week, Jackie was the mom. And when they showed her the sketch, she just started hyperventilating.
Yeah.
It was really hard to watch. I felt so bad for her.
Yeah.
I might have to cut this if I realize it's not true, but I'm pretty sure that Jim, who recommended this one, said he knows this family. So,
oh my God! If you know this family, let's see if can we maybe get him on.
I would love to get him on.
I would love to get him on, and I would say, first of all, I love you all so much, and we are best friends. And I'd be like, and we got to sign off.
And look at the time, creeper lady.
I know that would be great. That'd be great.
So.
Well, cool. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us for this story. I hope it didn't scare you as much as it scared me.
Well, they're not looking at the sketch right now.
They're not looking at the sketches.
Although, they could if they're listening to this after I've posted them.
So, Amy, what can we expect next week?
Well, next week I am presenting. It's called Seether, which is season 14, episode 3.
Probably nice and happy.
Yeah. So ever since I saw that and decided I was doing this, I've had that song, the Seether, in my head. Song from the 90s. I can't remember who it is.
I don't know. I only think of the band Seether.
Whoever's listening is yelling at right now.
They're yelling at us. Yeah. Probably Amy.
Yeah, probably.
Amy yells at us at least once a week, I think, when she listens.
That's okay.
It's okay.
So,
and then text it to us.
Then text us while you're listening and tell us what it is. Although I'll probably figure it out. But anyway, so I was looking through my notes that I had wrote and recorded in the months leading up to the launch of the show. And this one stuck out because I had written in my notes, this would be a good one to cover because Amy, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to spoiler alert it.
Cliffhanger.
She did something in this one that was different and really cool.
That's different.
And so I was like, yep, we're going to do this one. Nice. So I haven't watched it since, probably 6 months ago or longer. Since I watched it. We've been doing
this podcast longer than 6 months.
We started in January. Yeah. So it's been 8.
7.
It's been, 8, almost 9.
Okay, math. Listen, this is why we're podcasters and not mathers.
That's right. Mathers. Yep. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll be watching that this week and we'll be ready for you next week.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, everybody. We're so excited for our new people. And again, if you're on Instagram and you want to be part of our little chat group, let Amy know. She'll add you.
Send us a DM and say that you want to be in the chat group. Don't just say hi, because then I think you're a bot and I just delete it.
Lost in my DMs. What? In my DMs. What? Oh, Lizzo. I love her so Lizzo. Much. Who doesn't?
I know, right? She's perfect.
All right. Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to the Activity Continues podcast. We really appreciate you giving us your ears for a bit. Please reach out if you have a suggestion for which episode of the Dead Files we should cover next, or if you have a spooky story you'd like us to share on the show. We can be reached at theactivitycontinues@gmail.com or through our website or any of our socials. Links are all in the description of the show. Please feel free to drop us a note and say hi. And join us next time when The Activity continues. The Activity Continues is produced by me, Amy, at Collected Sounds Media and is part of the independent Collected Sounds podcast network. We are also proud members of the Boo Pod network of super cool podcasts.
Nailed it.